Latest on Hurricane Florence, which has weakened only slightly in the last few hours due to eyewall upheaval. It's at 26.7 degrees north, 64.8 degrees west at 9 AM on September 11th. It's got winds of 130 miles per hour and a pressure of around 950 indicated by recon planes. It's a stage 5 on the CDPS scale and still a category 4 on the Saffir-Simpson scale. Devastation would occur if any land areas were under the storm right now. Thankfully, it's still 382 miles south of Bermuda, 866 miles from Cape Hatteras, 939 from Wilmington, and 1,000 miles from Charleston. The storm is still expected to head for the east coast of the United States, and a hurricane watch is now in effect for Edisto Beach to the North Carolina-Virginia border. Now is the time to certainly start taking things seriously. A storm surge watch also in effect for the same area. Those warnings could be extended later on today. So this is what we expect over the next few days. This is the GFS model. Now all the different models are saying different things, but this one in particular has been calling for a stall before landfall for quite some time. However, it is still very close to land when it does so, delivering hurricane force winds to the Outer Banks, and this scenario, the stalling along the coastline, is arguably worse than a straight-in landfall at Category 4 intensity. This is what the GFS is saying, hugging the coast and then moving southwest later on before moving inland. That is just one scenario out of many. Sea surface temperatures are very warm indeed. Renewed strengthening is likely later today. Temperatures around 29 degrees Celsius or so, all the way up until landfall. This is what we expect in the wind field. You can see there gradual strengthening again later on. Could make a run at Category 5 status, but I expect the storm will weaken a little bit before striking land, although the pressure may continue to deepen as the wind field grows there. And if the storm does stall offshore as it's shown here, the wind field will grow considerably, and all areas around there will be affected all the way down to South Carolina, maybe even as far as Savannah, Georgia maybe. These are the chances of tropical storm force winds in the next 5 days. 94% in Wilmington, 80% in Myrtle Beach, up to 91% in Cape Hatteras now. Charleston down a little at 45%, and Norfolk, Virginia we're putting at 65% at this update. So the GFS is one such model. Here's a few others that we can look at for intensity first of all. You can see GFS drops the ball again as it often does with intensity at the minute, but other models there all calling for pretty much staying around the same intensity that it's currently at. And then you look at the wind shear staying pretty low for at least a day before it starts to rise. So that's really got the best conditions in the next 24 to 36 hours. And then you can see some of the tracks there, the HWRF and HMON in particular, taking the storm straight into land. But in all of these cases, the storm slows down as it's making landfall. So that's something that we are pretty concerned about. Here is the latest imagery of Florence as day breaks this morning. You can see it's becoming quite circular, I have to say, in these latest frames. Sometimes we show you the GOES 16 1-minute imagery, which looks a little bit deceptive perhaps because we blow it up quite large, but this in real terms, the storm is not the largest we've ever seen, but it is expected to grow in size by at least 50% in the next days before landfall. Now is the time to prepare accordingly and take action if necessary. You can follow Force 13's outlets, the website force13.com with the latest. You can also find our YouTube page. You're probably there already, but if not, subscribe if you haven't so far. You can also find our Facebook page, Force 13 all in text, and it's at Force 13 on Twitter if you'd like to get in touch with us on there. You can also help the project become even better by enjoying the benefits of patronage. You can find out more information about how to become a patron and what those benefits are at patreon.com/Force13. And you can tune into Force 13's live feed at any time. It's now entering its 4th day of service. youtube.com/Force13/live for the latest.